I'm emotional because I love Frank Reich. I really do, and he's one of the best damn football coaches I've ever been around. So, yeah. I was hoping that him and I would be able to coach against each other in this game, but he's one of my biggest mentors. I got my dad, I got Larry Karras, and I got Frank Reich, and Frank's such a good football coach. And you don't want to know what I think of if he should be here or not, but because you guys can probably imagine what I really think. And I love him, and so I got a little bit emotional about that, and it was good to see the guys that I really cared about and some of the things that, Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly and Paris Campbell, I got to talk to them after the game, and Kenny Moore. So, that means a lot when they say some things that are, obviously I keep those things to myself, but spent a lot of time here. My kids, one of my children was born here, and it was sweet to come here, especially with what happened in this organization the last couple weeks, and get the win. The win. We live in Indianapolis with a win.
Nick Sirianni, coach of the century. I love that guy. Yeah. He holds it in just enough that he doesn't create the viral soundbite that makes him look bad, but you still understand what he's meaning. You get the point. And, yeah, he's not a fan of what happened with Frank Reich. And I would say, and I understand that there's this weird disconnect in the media. You've got some people who look at it and say it's an affront to the coaching profession if you just pull somebody from the outside and expect them to come in and leapfrog over everyone and just do the job and do it well. That it disrespects everyone who's been busting their asses all these years at the vague hope of maybe someday rising to the top of the pyramid. And then there's the, anybody can do it. Why are you a hater? He won a game. Oh, you're just jealous, whatever but and that's not the point. The point is there is an order, there is a structure, and the Colts went completely beyond it. And hey, it's still working. Even though they lost to the Eagles, they had the game won. They look like a real NFL team that is a potential contender in the AFC, and we'll see how they bounce back from this loss. But they had that game won, Myles. I mean, they're passing the eyeball test under Jeff Saturday.
They are, but I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like, well, did the meddling owner maybe stop meddling? Because it really seemed like a few weeks ago, even though I took a victory lap on it, it was kind of a situation where Irsay goes, oh, won't someone rid us of this meddlesome Matt Ryan and install a young quarterback like Sam Ehlinger and see what happens, so that we see what happens with. And that obviously was the wrong decision for the Colts, right? It just was. And it wasn't something that went over very well in the locker room. And then the next week they get rid of the offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady. And then finally they get rid of Frank Reich. And I can see why, if you're Nick Sirianni and you spent a lot of time in that organization helping to build that thing, that, you look at this and you're like, man, this isn't right. And so it makes you a little bit emotional, and it potentially makes you coach a little bit worse. And so I don't know if that's why that game was as close as it is. Look, the Colts have had a pretty good defense all year long. Gus Bradley's done a pretty nice job with that unit, and I think that has frustrated a lot of different opponents. It frustrated the Kansas City Chiefs, weeks and weeks ago. So now we see the sort of landscape where the Eagles are coming off pretty bad loss to a division rival, but it's a short week, and so you have to do this and you have to do that, and you got the head coach who is emotional about one of the most important people in his life, in his view, being treated unfairly. So I think there are a lot of things that go into that, and it was obviously very, very nice for the Eagles to come out of that building with a win.
Myles, you hit the nail on the head. And it crystallized in my brain as you were explaining that. Here's what happened in a nutshell. Whatever you think about Jeff Saturday, whatever you think about Frank Reich, what happened was this. Several weeks ago, Jim Irsay decided that he was going to avoid potentially owing Matt Ryan $17 million fully guaranteed next year, on top of the $12 million he's already owed fully guaranteed, by getting him off the field and putting him in bubble wrap. It was a business decision driven by ownership. It was obvious when Frank Reich explained it. It was coming from the owner, and it was permanent. Sam Ehlinger is the starter for the rest of the season, not the rest of the month, not the rest of my season, Frank Reich, but the rest of the season. So, Frank Reich, and this would be why Nick Sirianni would be upset. Anybody should be upset by this. Frank Reich is made to coach with one hand tied behind his back because he can't use the former NFL MVP who still has gas in the tank if the blocking gives him a chance to get the car out of neutral. You got to go with the young guy who's completely unproven, and you're going to be held accountable for the performance of the guy that I'm forcing you to play with your job. If you can't somehow spin straw into gold on the fly with a guy who hasn't had any first-team reps, with a guy who I'm telling you is our quarterback, not Nick Foles, not the Super Bowl MVP. Sam Ehlinger is the quarterback. And if you fail, if he fails, you fail, and you're fired, and my replacement is going to get to bring back Matt Ryan. That's the last twist of the knife that should piss off anybody who's paying attention to this. Jim Irsay set Frank Reich up to fail, and then when he got the blowback from crossing the line between outside the box and bat bleep crazy, he brought back Matt Ryan to boost the effort to make it look like he didn't do something completely nuts. I really do. You know, in hindsight, that's what it was. That's what it was. That's why Matt Ryan's playing. Holy crap, we better try to actually win some games so I don't look like I was way outside the bounds by doing this. And now Matt Ryan's back, and they won a game, and they're competitive in this. And they'll continue to be competitive. I'm just glad they lost one, frankly, because if they went out 8-0, I was going to have to get the Colts logo tattooed on my ass. So I was saved that. If they go 6-2, I've made the commitment to make the $10,000 donation to the charity of Jim Irsay's choice. So there's still a chance that happens. If it happens, that's fine because it's going to charity. It's not like I'm giving it to Jim Irsay. It's the charity of his choice, though. The charity can't be the Jim Irsay Household Maintenance Fund. It's got to be a real charity. Or the Human Fund, as the case may be, another reference that Myles won't get. But look, I like where they are. I like their fire. I like that they played hard, but yes, it's possible to look at this if you're inside the coaching profession and say, in many ways, this is messed up.
Yes. Well, the other thing that you sort of alluded to this, but I think you can take it this way too. It's that Frank Reich was not empowered to make the decision to go back to Matt Ryan or go to Nick Foles, but Jeff Saturday was. So it's one of ostensibly the first coaching decisions he made was on that Friday before going to play the Las Vegas Raiders, saying, I think Matt Ryan looks good. He gives us the best chance to win, and that's what I'm going to do. And so Frank Reich didn't have that opportunity to do that. So, that's one of the biggest problems there, I would feel like, if you're somebody who really cares about Frank Reich, is that the empowerment was stripped from one guy, and then the next guy who comes in and has not been in that building coaching for the entire offseason gets to make this decision because he's got outside eyes and he's not scared because he's not been a coach before and all the different things that Jim Irsay said in that press conference. That I understand why that would irk somebody. It would irk me.
Well, and it may be as simple, Myles, as Jeff Saturday has the relationship with Jim Irsay where he knows how to push his buttons, what to say and when to say it to get Irsay to do what he wants to do. And hey, Jim, look at all the criticism we're getting. They think you're nuts. They think I'm unfit. They think we're going to lose all our games. We just need to go out there and win a game. Let me do what I have to do to win a game. We'll worry about the $17 million later, okay? We just need to win a game. We need to reestablish ourselves. We need to prove all these people wrong. Look at what they're saying about us. Look at what they're saying about you. We have to put our best foot forward. We can't reside in our fears. And hey, Frank Reich, if he failed in any respect, he failed to say the things to Jim Irsay to talk him off of that ledge of no more Matt Ryan. We're going with Sam Ehlinger because I'm worried about this $17 million that I may owe him if he can't pass a physical the middle of March. Look at how he's getting banged around by our offensive line that can't protect him. And also Jeff Saturday, to his credit, came in and got that offensive line, challenged them to perform. And they did. They've responded. And they're not done. They're not done. 4-6-1. For everything they've been through, they're 4-6-1. They're very much alive. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.